UFC 310 is coming up in a couple weeks, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. This video will be timestamped, guys. We're going to go through confident picks, underdog opportunities, fights that I believe you should not be betting on, my personal lock of the week, and then we're going to close things off with some fun parlays and taking a look at any props that are available at this time, and then the channel betting recap. Again, timestamps are there if you'd like to skip to any part of the video, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get started with the confident picks. And the first confident pick I have for you guys is going to be Eryk Anders. We talked about this. We talked about this many, many times at this point. Eryk Anders, guys, I believe still has it. And I have a full card breakdown already diving as deep into these fights if you guys are interested. If you guys are interested, that's a very, very long video compared to this. This is kind of my quick reasonings as to why I think they're going to win. Chris Weidman is a shell of the fighter that he once was. He's slow, hesitant, and sloppy since the leg break. He's 40 years old, pushing 41. Both of these guys are going to be cutting weight again. I think that's going to negatively affect Chris Weidman more than Eryk Anders. Eryk Anders, at this point, I still think can contest with a lot of the middleweight division. I don't think he'll win, but I think he's capable of being in there with them, while Chris Weidman is not. Weidman's washed. I hope I'm wrong because I love Weidman, but Eryk Anders is a confident pick of mine. Let's continue on to the next confident pick. It's going to be Themba Greenbow. Guys, I hate to say it, but Vicente Luque is only 33 years old. He may very well be past his prime at this point. We all know that he had that brain bleed, and he's had some horrible performances since he came back. He looked like, again, like I spoke about with Weidman, he's a shell of the fighter that he once was. And Themba Greenbow, he does a good job at what he does. While it's not outstanding, I think that he'll be able to shut down Vicente Luque's game enough in order to get the win. So Themba Greenbow is also a confident pick of mine. Now, let me know what you guys think of this one, okay? Disclaimer with this pick. A confident pick is Movsar Evloev, and I'm very confident in saying that. The problem is, I personally I have a history of underestimating Aljamain Sterling. I'll be honest with you guys. I got the Petr Yan fight wrong. I got the TJ Dillashaw fight wrong. I don't recall what I said with Henry Cejudo. Sean O'Malley I said it was a 50-50, and I picked Calvin Kattar to beat him. Am I going to be wrong on this one too? History dictates yes, but at the end of the day, I still believe that Movsar, whether it's grappling or striking, will be too much for Aljamain Sterling. I think he's just better. If anybody disagrees, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I just want a disclaimer with that one. I have a history of picking incorrectly when it comes to Aljamain Sterling, but Movsar is a very confident pick of mine. Let's continue on with the confident picks. Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper is a fighter that's been vastly improving, and every single time that we see him, he's been getting better. He's coming off of the performance of a lifetime against Vyacheslav Borshev, He isn't cutting weight anymore. He's focusing on becoming a better and better fighter. Clay Guida, while he still looks good for his age, he's almost 43 at this point. Chase Hooper is young, 25, still improving, and I think that he'll be able to deal with the grappling onslaught and pressure of Clay Guida. I think he'll be able to match it and kind of give his own offense to that. So Chase Hooper is also a confident pick of mine. And lastly, for the confident picks, guys, we have Bryce Mitchell. I worry about this one because after the kind of KO that Bryce Mitchell has taken in his last fight, you know, sometimes their chin isn't always the same. But Kron Gracie, he's 36, extremely inactive. All he has is BJJ, which Bryce Mitchell might even be able to contest with him with. I just think that Bryce Mitchell's going to be better, and I think he's going to have a very, very easy win here. With that being said, though, guys, we do have a couple underdog opportunities for you. These fighters aren't necessarily picks of mine. These aren't fights that I'm going to even be betting on. None of these fights that I'm actually going to be betting on. It's just the betting guide for you. It's a nice template to work with. That's these videos, okay? While I do believe these fights to still be risky, if you're looking for underdogs on the card, these are the best value for their chances, in my opinion. The first one is going to be Alexander Volkov. I'm shocked that he's this big of an underdog because the dude's been on a roll. And on top of that, I worry about Cyril Gane's mentality coming in. He has money now. He's a movie star. And I said this in the full card breakdown. My wife was actually just watching something. And in the background, I was like, oh my God, that's Cyril Gane. He's like straight up an actor now. That doesn't necessarily work out the best for translating into martial arts. Volkov's hungrier. He wants to get the title. And he's been still improving with every fight. I do believe that Alexander Volkov is more likely to win this fight. It's risky, but I think that's great value for underdog cash. Let's move on to another underdog opportunity. For this one, I almost included it in the fights to avoid. But Ian Gary, for the underdog that he's at right now, man, I think that's excellent, excellent returns, okay? He took this fight on short notice. I know. Shavkat's a killer. I get it. But I could very well see Ian Gary surviving the first onslaught of Shavkat Rakhmonov. And then we know that Shavkat, he has had, like, he gets sloppy as the fight goes on, but he's still very, very dangerous. I don't want to say that he, like, gasses out or anything to that extent. He's just hittable. If Ian Gary survives, which he's been putting a lot of work with Charles Oliveira, and that's kind of the best grappling that you could get, if he survives against Rakhmonov, I could see him really piecing up Shavkat in the second and especially third round. Ian Gary has some sneaky knees. If Hamzat's really swinging wild, and did I say Hamzat? I'm sorry. Shavkat. Did I say Hamzat this entire time? My apologies if I did. But if Shavkat is walking forward, swinging those punches, I can see the calf kick chopping him down. I can see knees up the middle. Ian Gary is a very sneaky and precise fighter. This is a very close fight to pick. I just think it's crazy that Ian Gary is this much of an underdog. Now, guys, with that being said, let's continue on to the fights that I do not believe you should be betting on and staying away from. The first one being Randy Brown versus Brian Battle. I just think that these are two highly, highly respected, highly, highly talented prospects going at each other. I don't know who's going to win this fight. Anything can happen here. Both guys have looked fantastic lately, and I expect big things from both of them. I don't know who's going to get the win. Stay away from that one. Let's continue on. Michael Chiesa, Max Griffin. Kind of the opposite, to be honest with you. It's two guys that are clearly out of their prime. I question their motivation. They're older now, and they have skeptical records. It's two guys at the end of their careers going at each other. I don't know who wants it more. I don't know who's the better fighter, and I don't know who's going to win this fight. Let's continue on with another fight I don't believe you should be betting on. Anthony Smith versus Dominic Reyes. Now, I'm not ready to sit here and say that Dominic Reyes is back because I know there's a lot of people picking in Dominic Reyes. Yes, he got a nice win against Dustin Jacoby. It was very, very early. I need to see another performance like he just had in order for me to say, okay, I trust Dominic Reyes again. Maybe it just was the hard hitters that he's fought because he got put through Murderer's Row, right? Both of these guys, the way I see it, I'm not ready to say that about Dominic Reyes. I believe both these guys to still be not washed. Anthony Smith is kind of washed, but Dominic Reyes, I still have questions about. I thought he was washed, then he got a nice win, but anybody can get a win like that, right? Maybe he just had an on night. I need to see more from Dominic Reyes before I jump on the train and start picking him against Anthony Smith. For that reason, I still question his chin. I question Anthony Smith in general. I don't like betting on this fight at all. I don't know what's going to happen. Even just props. This could end early. It could end late. Stay away from this one. In my opinion, that's probably the fight mostly on the card that I believe you should be staying away from. And the last fight that I believe you guys should be staying away from is Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. Mostly because, in my opinion, from what we've seen from Pantoja, especially in his last fight, he also seems to be past his prime. I know there's been a lot of talk about that with this card in general. He's 34 years old, pushing 35. He's slowed down in the last rounds, keeps his hands low, and Kai Asakura, while he seems to have all of the talent in the world, he seems to be the real deal. I need to see that against at least top 5 UFC talent before I pick him against Alexandre Pantoja. He could very well come in and steamroll Pantoja. He could be the real deal. He could come in and prove why he's such a beloved fighter overseas. I'm just not ready to say that yet. I need to see him prove himself, and after this fight, I will be talking about betting on Kai Asakura possibly. Now, guys, let's continue on to Lock of the Week. The fighter on the card that I believe has the best chance of winning is going to be Joshua Van. I've just been so unbelievably impressed with him, especially in his last win. He's shown that he is the real deal at just 23 years old, getting better every single time that we see him. And while Cody Durden is a dog, I don't think that he'll be able to bring anything to the table that Joshua Van hasn't seen or Joshua Van isn't ready for. I just think he's better. I'm convinced that this dude is going to be a top contender one day. And it's unfortunate because Cody Durden has taken on some really, really tough fighters. Joshua Van, in my opinion, is going to piece him up. Now, guys, before we continue on with the betting recap, let's take a look at OddsJam right now because at the time of recording this video, there's not a lot we can take a look at for props, and I don't know what we want to see over here. I always have trouble figuring out exactly where I should be putting things, okay? So, what we can see right now is we have some over-unders. Max Griffin, Michael Chiesa, over 2.5 is minus 181. No thank you on that one. Plus money for Smith and Dominic Reyes. To be honest with you, I actually don't hate that one. I'm a big over 1.5 guy for me personally. I stress too much when it comes to over 2.5. Brian Battle, Randy Brown, not bad. Volkov and Cyril Gahn, minus 200. Yeah, right. Get me out of there. No thank you. No thank you. Duho Choi versus Nate Landwehr. Ooh. Oh, man. What am I talking about? Oh, my God. I didn't talk about this fight. Don't bet on this fight. Duho Choi and Nate Landwehr. Don't bet on that fight. Over 2.5 plus 100. I think that's excellent value. I think that's excellent value for that. Kaya Sakura, Alexandre Pantoja, minus 200 about for over 2.5. Sterling, of course, minus 250 for that. Eric Anders, Chris Weidman, minus money. Themba Grimo, Vicente Luque. No, like, there's nothing that really screams out to me besides maybe, what was it? Anthony Smith, Dominic Reyes, and of course, that's just because of the odds. I think out of all of them, for your value, this one actually has a decent chance of hitting Duho Choi versus Nate Landwehr going over 2.5 rounds, but I still don't think that's one that I'm personally going to hit. Let's continue on with the fun part of the video, though, guys. Let's continue on because let's see what we can make for some fun parlays. We don't, oh man, I'm messing it up already. There we go. What can we work with over here? Just to put some fun parlays together. Let's pick some confident picks over here, okay? Evloev, Garimbo, Joshua Van. Joshua Van's only a 161. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Okay, sorry. Chase Hooper, not Ian Gary, and I'm leaving it at that. That's 4 times your money. I'm actually feeling good about that. That's something that I would consider hitting, to be honest with you, but something's bound to go wrong with a parlay like that. Like, let's see just my picks in general. Let's see what it comes out to be. Again, a little bit of a fun part of the video, guys. Volkov, Evloev, Garimbo, Reyes, Van, Chiesa, Hooper, Landwehr. Oh, that's so tough. Brown, Ian Gary, no. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Alexandre Pantoja. 141 times your money. Something's bound to go wrong there. Something my sister and I do every single week. If you guys are new to the channel, we put 10 cents on every single underdog because sometimes it ends up being millions of dollars. Let's see what this one turns out to be. Only $7,000. That's crazy, but is that every fight? It's about every fight. It doesn't really matter. There's not a ton of huge underdogs on this card, but man, like, if you want to put in like some underdogs together, like Volkov and Ian Gary, that's some crazy return on that. That's some crazy return. It's a very, very interesting card to bet on, guys. I'm feeling good. There's a few things that I do want to play for this time around. And guys, before we get you out of here, we have the betting recap for the channel. This is what we had to do this week, and we went pretty well. And honestly, I was shocked. But I guess he's an underdog for a reason, right? Kenan Song ended up getting finished. That's the one that really killed me. Other than that, we had a clean sweep. The fun parlay hit Carlos Hernandez, Minyang Zhang, Yang Xiaonan, Michael Oliveira to win, Piotr Yan to win, and then the main and co-main event to both go over 1.5 rounds. Turned out pretty well in my opinion. I'm still shocked about Kenan Song personally. I was really confident that he would get the job done in that matchup, but hey, he ended up getting caught, and that's kind of been the case sometimes with Kenan Song. Perhaps we've been overrating him. So guys, if you are interested in either supporting the channel or seeing exactly what I'm doing with my money, because I talk a lot about betting on this channel, every single Thursday or Friday before the events, I'll be posting a community members post and a members only video explaining exactly what I am going to be doing with my money every single UFC event. I always have some bets. So if you're, again, either interested in either supporting the channel or just combining my fight knowledge with your own research, you can check out the channel membership in the pinned comment description down below or right next to the subscribe button. It is very cheap compared to other channels. Also, the tool that we use on the channel, OddsJam, we went through it. Amazing if you have multiple sports books, the quickest to the odds. It makes it very easy to place bets. You can check out OddsJam in the pinned comment description down below using my link and code CLENBAT. You can get a discount signing up for OddsJam. Guys, that has been the betting guide. Check out the full card breakdown right here if you'd like to keep watching the channel. We dive into those fights even more than I did this time around. Take care. Thank you for watching.